Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Strike Zone with St. Paul Saints Manager George Tsamis. Strike Zone is a weekly program that gives you, the fans, the opportunity to ask the St. Paul skipper questions about the Saints, baseball, or sports in general, or just seek George's wisdom about life events. In this week's program, George provides us with some team updates. He answers fan questions related to the team. And George tells us if he decided not to talk to Ole Sheldon after he was ejected. So let's get right to Strike Zone.
All right, so let's welcome back Manager George Tsamis here live at CHS Field. George, let's first of all have your team updates from you.
Yeah, we since last week we do have a couple new guys, a couple changes. Eric Vaglin, who he's been a real good pitcher for St. Thomas and was the pitcher of the year in the conference. We've signed him. He's a left-handed pitcher. We think he can be successful in this league, so he's going to get a chance here to start eventually. Not sure when yet. Gene Ejected is back from Mexico, and we have signed him back. And he was rusty the first couple of times, but last night he looked real good. And Tanner Weber's back off the DL, and he's been a good player for us. And hopefully he can stay healthy. And Sam Moss is healthy, ready to be activated, but we don't have a roster spot to activate him, and so we're waiting for something to happen for him.
Before we get into our fan questions, I first of all want to mention a couple nights ago you had your 900th win as manager. Tell me a little bit about how that feels to you.
Tell you what, it was a nice win too, and we've been doing this for a long time, so it's and obviously it was nice to get it against a rival. Like, it's a great rivalry. Us and Winnipeg's a great rivalry, and it's been another exciting game with them. But the players are the ones out there winning the games, so I just sit there and watch the games and maybe leave the starting pitcher out there too long, and so it's all the players get the job done.
I wanted to ask you too, since the 4-game losing streak, your team has gone 14-2. Team seems to just find ways to win. What are you attributing that to?
They play well together, and we've had some close games, and guys find ways to win the close games, and they're doing a good job, and they play well together, and maybe not early in the season, but the last couple of weeks they've been coming up with more big hits and swinging the bats well, and even last night to come back from, we were getting beat up there last night, but we never gave up and came back a couple times, and what a tremendous win that was.
Heading into our fan questions this week, we first of all start with Joe from Richfield. He says, has it been really satisfying to you that all these role players that you have really made big contributions to your team this season?
Yeah, there's some guys that they're doing a good job, and and we may not have too many superstars on our team. We just have you want to call them role players. Well, they're playing well, and some guys play different positions and just getting the job done, and it's great what they're doing.
Next is Anthony from St. Paul, who says, why does it seem that you never drink those beverages that they give you before games?
We drink before the game, and I'm just more focused on the game, so I just usually give it to whichever player is standing there waiting for it.
Are they good at least?
Yeah, from what I hear they are, because they keep coming to the top step and waiting for them, so so maybe I should try one of these days.
Okay, our next question comes from Shannon from Burnsville, who'd like to know, are you upset that you traded away Mike Gilmartin now that you not keep Cody Scarpetta?
It was a tough thing at the time. We felt we needed the pitcher, and I believe at that time we had just lost Shields as well too, and Gilmartin's a good player too, but even now, even if we would have kept him, it's like we still would have trouble with a spot to put him at, because Tony Thomas is doing a decent job at short, and Babber is doing a good job at second, and so it would have been a tough, thing to keep him, and it was just best for both parties at the time, and just the way it worked out.
Excuse me. Our next question comes, your starting pitching staff seems to be in flux right now. Do you have a set 5 guys you are planning on going with for a while?
As of right now, we know we have 3 for sure, and the other 2 spots, we're going to see what happens. I think we're going to give Vaglin a chance to start here, and but as of right now, we know we have Hamburger, Cole, Straka, and we'll just see how those other two spots play out.
John from Minneapolis would like to know, are you sick of people comparing this year's teams to last?
Not really. It's whatever, people can say what they want and have their opinion, and that's great. And I love last year's team and I love this year's team, and hopefully we can just keep playing good baseball.
Bill from St. Paul would like to know, I heard you say last season that you don't really like to evaluate your team until a month into the season. So how do you evaluate your team right now?
I tell you what, it's they're doing a really good job, and we're swinging the bats better, and especially to have a comeback like last night when they had a big lead and we just never gave up, and I'm really happy with the way the guys are playing.
Frank from South St. Paul would like to know, you seem to be having problems getting the right guys for your bullpen. Is it that difficult to find guys that can pitch 1 or 2 innings every couple of days?
Yeah, it's tough to have a good bullpen, and look at Winnipeg's got a real good bullpen, and I thought our guys did a good job, hitting off them last night, and I don't know, it's tough to put together the pieces down there to have quality guys down there, but you got to give credit to the hitters, man. There's just good hitters all around this league.
Next, we have Lee from Woodbury who'd like to know, do you expect a lot more guys to be available now that the baseball draft has just concluded?
Yeah, there are plenty of guys available and plenty of guys that want to come play in our league, and but it's got to be the right fit, and it's different. It's different from playing in college to come straight up into here playing against AA, AAA players.
Do you have guys that are still contacting you now?
All the time. We can sign 50 more guys if we wanted to right now, but obviously we can't do that. And again, I'm sure there's plenty of college players that did well that could come in this league and do well, but I'm sure there's plenty that couldn't.
Do players get released then? Do you find that there's a large number of guys that are released because people got drafted too?
There's some. There are a few every day, but it has to be a right fit, and you have to be able to sign the guy because everybody in every league is trying to sign these quality guys that get released.
Gary from Minneapolis would like to know, while I think it is great how well the Saints are doing, isn't it sad that you guys have more wins than the Twins already?
Yeah, it's disappointing. I'm surprised how it's going with the Twins because I feel they have the guys and the young guys, and it just hasn't worked out. And again, you just hope they can just turn it around. There's a lot of season left.
The next one up we have is Ed from St. Paul, who says, how many players on your team do you feel have earned a spot on the All-Star team?
I feel there's several guys. There's from Hamburger to Rodabaugh to Tony Thomas and Sanko, and Tony Caldwell's been swinging it well too. There are several guys, but there are several guys around this league that are doing. There's a lot of guys having good years, so it's going to be tough to pick that All-Star team and whoever wins the voting, and it's going to be tough because there are a lot of guys having good years.
Yeah, I'm curious from the All-Star side of this. A lot of managers don't like their pitchers to be used as much in that because then they're kind of wasted. Would you like Hamburger starting a game like that or not?
If he was chosen to start the game, I would be really happy with it, and it's here in this park, and I would be happy if that happened. If it didn't, I know there's some other guys that deserve to start, and like Tyler Herron from Fargo, he's having a great year too, and there's some quality guys, but it would be great if Hamburger can continue to do well here, for the next month, and hopefully get the chance to be in the game, and I guess we'll see. That's still a long ways away.
Coach Tom says, I'm a big fan, Skipper. How do you keep a really talented player humble enough to take instructions so he can get better?
You hope you get the right guys, because we try to keep them that way, and a lot of good attitudes on this team, and you hope you have the right guys.
Shelley from Maplewood asks, my son is having trouble kind of settling down when he's in the batter's box. Do you have suggestions on how we can slow the game down some?
Just go up there with confidence, and it may be frustrating not getting the pitches to hit, but you just got to be patient and hope you get those pitches to hit and try not to chase them. I can see it too. It's especially younger, maybe they don't get as many strikes, and then you get frustrated. No, you don't want to walk, you want to hit, but you gotta wait for those good pitches.
Is this why some of the guys in the major leagues always take a couple of pitches just to kind of settle down?
Maybe they just want to see some pitches, but at that level, obviously they have a lot more control, and you're going to see more strikes. And But, you know, the kid's growing up. Obviously, maybe the pitching, you know, isn't as quality pitching, and maybe they don't throw enough strikes, and you get frustrated because you want to hit, you don't want to walk.
That makes sense. Craig from Victoria asked, the coaches for my son are telling him to stay soft with his hands when playing defense, but I really don't get what they mean, and he doesn't seem to get it either. Any enlightenment on what they're talking about?
Yeah, you know, maybe from just hearing that, maybe it's just gotta stay steady out there and just, you know, don't be jabbing at the balls. You keep your glove down, and again, without seeing them play, it's tough to, you know, it's tough to answer that one, but just stay down and be under control, and always have that glove on the ground. So that glove's on the ground, it can't go underneath it.
Our next question comes from Ian from Richfield, who has George pull out the couch. He says, okay guys, I need a little help here. My wife did something wrong and it was totally her fault. However, she thinks I am wrong for pointing out her mistake and expects me to apologize. I won't do so. Am I wrong?
You know, in this case, you know, I don't know what happened, but maybe it's best just to both apologize, go to Chick-fil-A, and just forget all about it.
That's good advice. Chick-fil-A is the solution to all things.
It's good. People like it, and just give it a shot.
Our last question comes from Becky from St. Paul, who says, I was at the game where Ole Sheldon was thrown out. After listening to your show, I wondered, did you not talk to him for a week?
Well, I think it turned out okay because a couple pitches later, Alonso hit the walk-off home run, so it worked out okay. But I would honestly be more mad if it was a player that did it, because Ole doesn't play anymore, and Lightberg can brag that he got to coach third base for 3 pitches and win the game. So, but yeah, not a fan of the ejections, but it's his first one ever, and hopefully it's his last one.
Thanks for joining us this week, George.
Thank you.
We want to thank Manager George Tsamis for joining us on Strike Zone this week. If you have your own questions you'd like to ask the St. Paul Saints skipper, please send them to us at askgeorge@minorleaguesportsreport.com. That's askgeorge@minorleaguesportsreport.com. Please have your questions to us by Saturday evening so we can give the skipper a little time to review them before we record the show. I'm Rob Pannier, the managing editor of the Minor League Sports Report, and we'll see you next time on Strike Zone.